RealAgriculture.com's coverage of the Western Canadian Farm Progress Show in Regina is brought to you by Morris. Okay, Don, you've got a new prototype disc drill.
Yeah, you know, and our motivation for this is there definitely is demand in the marketplace. There's a certain percentage of the marketplace that would prefer to go to a disc drill. They like the low soil disturbance. If they're true zero tillers, they don't like to have soil disturbance. Guys like to have higher speeds, and with low soil disturbance, you can go with higher speeds. So, you know, we're in the seeding business, so it was a logical step for us to get back into the disc drill business. And there is demand globally as well for the same reasons. In some areas, the speed issue is a big issue, and we have trouble slowing them down when they want to use a hoe opener. So we decided that we needed to get into this business. So we started about 3 years ago. We looked at a number of different openers. We actually mounted some on just a plot seeder to see, you know, what's the best system out there, and we imported some from overseas as well. And it was pretty interesting what we found out. As you know, we've had a lot of success with our contour drill, which basically uses a parallel linkage and a hydraulic cylinder for vertical movement for our depth control, and that's been very successful. So we incorporated that into our prototype disc drill. We're still using a gauge wheel like any disc in the marketplace to set your depth. So that is done here. The actual cam setting that we've taken off the contour drill is how we set our depth, and that adjusts the gauge wheel. That is very simple, very well appreciated with the contour hoe style of opener. But there's a unique thing that we've done with this, and certainly we've got this idea from some other manufacturers overseas, but we're actually using a walking axle design. So we have a pivot point here, we've got our packer wheel on the back, and our disc on the front.
Okay, so what does that do?
Yeah, well, with the disc, our experience, my experience, generally the disc wants to ride out of the ground. So one of your biggest issues is penetration with a disc opener. And you'll find a lot of manufacturers have to put a lot of weight in their frame so they can transfer that weight to that disc opener to get it to penetrate. So when you do that, you've got a lot of weight in the machine that you're having to pull, that takes horsepower. You know, you've got an issue in the field, especially these years when it's so wet, with rutting when you have that heavy a machine. So the advantage of this, with that walking axle design, when that disc, which is normal, wants to ride out of the ground, it's being counteracted by the packer wheel. So as you can imagine, it's pivoting here, but as your disc wants to come up, your packer wheel is not going to allow it to come up. So you get consistent penetration because of the walking axle design. So here's your pivot point, this is coming up, your packer wheel is pushing it back into the ground. So the result is we don't have to put all that weight in our frame to get that disc to penetrate.
So is this unit going to be lighter than others that are on the market?
Absolutely. You know, some of the other ones have to put steel shots, steel pellets in their frame to be able to have enough weight to transfer it onto their opener for penetration. We don't need that.
Do you have any idea what percent lighter it's going to be?
No, not necessarily, because we wouldn't know necessarily what our competitors weigh at this time. We ran it this spring. We've got a little over 4,000 acres on it. Very pleased with the results. We've been running it for 3 years, but this was really the first year we got significant acres on.
And what soil type?
We're in the Lucky Lake, Saskatchewan area, so it's kind of a mid-range. I don't know how it's classified. It wouldn't be a heavy gumbo, but it's they've got some good ground in that area. We will continue to run it this fall in winter wheat areas, probably in North Dakota and Montana. Try to get as many acres on it as we can. We'll have a limited production for this coming year, and then hope to be in full production unless something happens that we find an issue for 2013.